So, good afternoon. I'm Jorge from Payelec, and we work in technical training. Today we will talk about three topics. The invisible firewall, and we will talk about the different cases of teachers we found while we train. The updates have available, and that's about the technical equipment and the equipment for digitalization, and hackers of destinies. So it's about the end of our work, why we work on this. So the first thing I will ask you is to think about how long it takes to become a trainer. It takes a year, 5 years, or 10 years. How long? And taking in mind the digitalization, a trainer who has 5 years of experience is ready for that? Or 10 years of experience? They don't have time to study everything, all what is changing. So it's a big problem. So the invisible firewall. The first story is about a master who knew it all. The Ernesto was a reference in the institute. He knew everything about motors, drives, everything. A lot of things, and he speak about that really comfortable. And he thought he has already arrived to the top of the knowledge. But someday arrived new equipment, because when the world moves forward, you are always late. So the equipment arrived with new technologies, that digital twins, MQTT, industrial cybersecurity, cloud computing, and stuff like that. And when started the training, Ernesto started listening and was thinking about what he knew about that technologies. And his voice was silenced by himself. Was having paralyzing thoughts, so no ignorance was the case, was the fear. It wasn't lack of interest. It was fear of not understanding, of not being up to the task, and not knowing how to answer. It's a big problem, and it's a real problem now with the teachers. So he got an idea. When he go to the technical place where the equipment was, he was going with the students to make the first training with them, but he didn't want the equipment to work. This is real. So he put some insulating tape on some terminals and cut the powering wire. When he said he wanted to make the training, but the equipment never worked. So the system failed, and he go back to the way he trusts the most, all training. They called the technical from the company, and they found the machine was intentionally damaged. And for Ernesto was the turning point for. They need partners like the different brands we know, like Phoenix Sound, Contact, Festo, Payelec, ABB, Siemens, to create confidence and to create connections with the people, so they can understand, and then they can feel confidence to ask, because that's the main problem with the teachers. They don't ask. This is not going to stop. So we always must remain as apprentices. and work over our firewalls or fears. So the second story is about the projects, the really real changing projects. There was an empty technical facility in a location in the south of Chile, near Chillán. And the director has done a project with digitalization about 2 years ago. The workshop at the beginning was empty. Nobody wanted to use that because nobody knows enough to use the equipment. So many stations with different equipment, different really complex equipment, arrived there, and nobody understands how to use that. So the criticism to the director emerged. And everybody says the local industry don't need that. They need to work with relays, contactors, PLCs, and conventional machines, but they don't need digitalization. But the director says, we already teach all that. Everybody knows that. But if we train technicians for the present, we are late. Our job is not to respond to the industry, it's to anticipate it. So during the first months, the workshop seemed to really underused. But with the time, they understand they were incubating the future, the real changes. So the local industry at the beginning didn't notice that, but after some time, they began to seek out the technicians trained there. So training center should not imitate the industry. Training center must function as prototypes of what industry will become. If a student graduates mastering what already exists, that's functional. That's a functional worker. If a student graduates mastering what is to come, that's transformative. And the last story is about how the projects can hack the destinies of the people. There was a place, a beach, with a storm, a really big storm. And the storm was throwing out starfish, a lot of starfish, several starfish. And a little girl was taking the starfish and throwing back to the sea. A guy saw that and just smiling said to her, "You can't throw all the starfish back to the sea." And the girl looked to the eyes to that guy and said, "For this one, it's different. For this one, it's different." Why I'm telling you this? By this year, we reach about 8.2 billion people. Digitalizing the world is impossible at the speed we think of or we desire. And the universities, schools, or institutes are lifeless. The university don't experiment. The university don't have curiosity, don't have opinion, is not or can't be inspired. What can be inspired, what have opinion, are the people, are the students. They have curiosity. So why this student is so important is because he's the end user of the technology, and he will lead the digitalization. Empowering through digitalization technologies, we can make significant changes and giving significant learning tools and training the trainers, we can have upskilled students that can make the difference. If we understand that each step is important, we can also unlock potential through education and hack their destinies. And for them, the future will be different. So putting all together, the focus, sometimes we think, is the technology company and the vocational center and work together to move to industrial digitalization. But many times they need a bridge company who can help to talk on the language of the institute and on the language of the company that makes technology. But the focus is not there. The focus should be in the teacher and the students because they can make the change. New technologies need workers, and it's not enough to be best in digitalization if it can be massified. Mass digitalization can be possible only if it's natively adopted by the lower levels, by the students who will come out to the industries. Students are the ultimate goal to accelerate this digitalization. So if we have upskilled teachers, they can give to the student desire to learn, inspire them, and help them to understand. If we break the mental barriers in the learning process, if we bring cutting-edge technology and empower the student trainers to transfer it effectively, we can unlock the real change. So remember, no ego, no fear. Partner with digital transformation companies and understanding that each step, everything we do counts. This is much bigger than ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Jorge. You have questions for Jorge? But it's inspiring presentation today. Thank you for this. Maybe questions? Yes, no, let's go.
¿En
questions?
español?
Maybe in Spanish?
Can be in Spanish.
Yeah, okay.
¿Sí?
I don't really have a question in that sense. I just think that your presentation was really full of insights and interesting. And I really appreciate that you give a different perspective how we should address in the future the digitalization in the industry, in the education, and as a whole, let's say, world perspective. So thank you for it.
Thank you.
Yeah, first, thank you very much for the presentation, because I think through your presenting content, I share some similar feelings from my personal experience. I have a question which maybe is expanding from the problems that you mentioned, because during my career, I noticed that maybe that's a local problem, that we met a lot of students, not teachers, that lack the interest or the motivations to learn. Because normally we think, okay, for digitalization or for the, let's say, the automation, it's supposed to be interesting for the students to get their hands on the real machines and do the project. but somehow we still encounter with the students who somehow not so motivated. And those unmotivated students at the same time also demotivate the teachers. So like from your perspective, like do you have the similar experience? And if so, what's your opinions or what's your insight that, or what's your suggestions for the technical companies that what could be done to solve or resolve this problem?
One of the biggest problems to motivate is how to understand. It's the biggest problem. So the system we use to train are easy to understand. Many of them don't have manuals. It's crazy, but many of them don't have manuals. And the teachers and the student can use that without manuals. The fundamentals equipment should have always, but the next level with the industrial equipment should work with the manuals of the companies like ABB, Siemens, Rockwell Automation, and stuff like that. And to motivate the students, also we work with some technology like games, 3D games, so they can start learning without breaking anything. Okay.
Thank you, Jorge.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now is Roy. Really welcome, Roy. The stage is for you.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure for me being here. I'm Roy Berman. I'm POC's CEO in Latin America. And today we're going to talk about digital credentials as NFTs on the blockchain. So, what technologies, tools are changing education? First, the first two you probably know, learning analytics, and they help us to track progress and performance. AI, it processes information and provides recommendations. And in my vision, credentials is also a very important technology or a tool that give us the proof of the validation of what somebody knows. So with these three tools, we can do things like in institutions, like a university, to detect what skills are missing, to design better upskilling and reskilling programs, and to measure learning outcomes in a clear way. And in different companies, you can map the skills of their workforce. They can understand future skills that will be needed, and they can build personalized learning paths for their employees. So what we need to make this work is just trust and reliability. That's where the credentials comes. It's not just any kind of credential. We need digital credentials that are immutable, verifiable, secure, portable, and interoperable. That's NFTs, and the blockchain is the technology that brings that solution. So credentials can be read by AI to understand what skills the person has and compare that with the needs in the job market, and even to suggest what they should learn to match those needs. But if the credentials, they are fake, AI will give us a wrong answer. And nowadays, it's really easy to hack a credential. Even the last version of ChatGPT, you can ask a degree, and from Harvard, and they bring you the signatures of the people who always sign. So it's not something really hard to do it. So digital credentials are, for me, the new currency of trust between individuals, institutions, and the job market. The role of the credentials is huge. They bring us trust into the AI and learning analytics system. So let me share some examples about what is happening nowadays. This article, it was published this Tuesday, so it's really new, and it talks about fake seekers that are flooding the US companies that are hiring for remote positions. They are using AI generative profiles that are fake. They use information that it's public, and they say they give the real information from somebody from US. They have interviews with people that they talk, and it's not a person that it's on the other way. It's something that it's made by technology, and AI can fabricate photos, IDs. It's really hard, and they are hiring those people that they have all that human resources is seeking for. Those profiles are perfect, so they hire them, and they don't even work, they don't live in the same country that the company is, so they work remote. And once they have those people hired, they can install malware or steal the company with information that is very sensible. So this is something that is happening nowadays. Forbes also published an article that says that 70% of the workers, they lie on their resume. Mostly they are very creative about what the responsibilities or the abilities that they have. So it's in LinkedIn, if you don't have something that is trustable, you will probably be interviewing somebody that it's not the person that you are looking for. And some time ago, there was a huge problem in Yahoo because the CEO lied about some knowledge. He said he has some degree in informatics, and they figured it out it was false, and they lose a lot of thousands of millions of dollars. So why it's important to use blockchain? One of the main things on the blockchain is that it's not centralized. So that's one of the main things to figure it out. And let me tell you some difference between a hash in the blockchain and an NFT in the blockchain. Many companies, they say that you can have a certificate that has a blockchain technology, and they use a hash. A hash is just a code, like you can see there, that it's in the blockchain, it's impossible to change, but it says nothing about the degree. And if you use an NFT, the whole degree, you can see it on the blockchain, and that information, it's impossible to change. And this is very important because what is happening now, there are some wallets or some places where you can put all your NFTs and all the information that it's trustable, and it's impossible to change. So if you have a hash, you don't have nothing because it's just a code. And if you have an NFT, you can see the whole diploma or the degree in that place. So the NFTs, they guarantee the permanence of an academic record. It cannot be tampered. It cannot be destroyed. There's no risk of loss. It's forever accessible. If there's impossible that, I don't know, if the server it's down, that's not a problem for NFT. If the company is sold, there's no problem for NFT because the owner of the degree is the student. It's not the company that send the degree, or even the university that issue the certificate. It's always the student that has the access for that. So let me tell you about AI, how it affects teachers and to teach, and the learners to learn. The learners need to learn very fast. Let me show you some statistics. More than 500 million workers will need to be reskilled each year for the next 4 years. 4 out of 10 of the existing skills will be transformed or become outdated in the next 5 years. Skills are changing faster than we can learn. 59 out of 100 of workers will need training by 2030. More than 6 out of 10 companies identify that skills gaps are their highest barrier for business transformation. And 93% of the leaders say that they need to move from a job-based to a skill-based approach to succeed. So the courses must align with evolving industry needs. So how can organizations and educators be prepared for this kind of transformation? This is very important because I talk with a lot of universities and they have their structure, and a lot of them tell, we are doing the same and it always works, so it will continue working. Today I heard in one of the presentations where I think it was Uriel Kuckerman, that he says, I learned one way and I'm a good engineer, so why if I teach others the same way I learn, it's not happening again. So it's very important for us to know that education, it's in a very exciting moment. Everything is changing, all the rules are different, the students are different. During centuries, the education was one way, the professor was talking and people learn, and now the students, they change because they are different generations. They were born with the possibility of asking Google and they can have answers, and everything was I know I have an answer, you have a question, I have an answer, I have a problem, I have a solution, and usually we had to wait and till we get the answers. So it's important for me that organizations and educations have to stop talking and thinking. They have to act fastly, because these changes are happening now. If they don't change, they will lose the train of the future of education, and then it will be really hard to change. Governance, companies, institutions, and EdTech, they need to work together. The future is collaborative. You have to look for benchmarks. There are really good tech giants and EdTech that are making very good work. University, the same difficulties, and when they talk, they can talk together and create and share experiences that are positive or experiences that are negative, and that's the way they will try to look for better solutions. So degrees are not enough. We need to hire and to train for skills. This is a very big change. And it's very related what I showed previously, because if what I'm teaching today, it will change in 4 years, the important thing is that the students, that they get the skills to learn, because if they can learn and they have the critical thinking and the innovative thinking that they talked previously, they will be ready for the new changes that are coming. So it's great for universities and companies to start doing a lot of piloting, to do a lot of trials and to have errors in the test. That's the way the startups, how they work. It's important for universities to see themselves. They are an organization. The startups are organizations that they have a knife here, and if they have a mistake, they will be ruined. And universities they don't live this situation. So it's interesting to learn about how to change and to learn and to adapt to all the things that are coming. So if we can build this system together with AI, analytics, and trusted credentials, we can create a better future. Now I would like to show you some features that are related to credentials. One of them is related to the programs if they are oriented to the jobs. Nowadays, there's the possibility to track the employability of the students that just finished studying. You can track the career, the progression, and gain actionable data on new jobs, promotion, and time to impact. So if you have students that finish, or you can even look at the past and get the information that the people that study this course, the 80%, I will show you an example. You can see if you get a course from a front-end developer, you can say that 80% of the students got employed in the next 6 months. And you can even have the detail about which one got a new position in the same company, which one changed or got a new job and are working on a new company. And even better, you can see student by student who didn't have the 20% that didn't got a change in their employability. You can see what they have in common and see what you can change. Even though if there's a course that it has a low percentage of employability, probably that happens because it's not connected with the companies that are looking for those positions. So that's great data for the companies to see, well, I have to change, let's see what they are looking for, let's talk with human resources in the different companies to see what I need to change. Also, the learning pathways with enhanced analytics. Students usually they study and they get a degree at the end. The new generations, they need motivation. They need to see that they are making progress. So if you use micro-credentials or any kind of recognition about what abilities or what knowledge they have, it's a way to the student not to finish just with one degree. They can finish with one degree and 5 micro-certificates, and even though those micro-certificates might help the student to get a job. If I work as an engineer, and in the first year I got certain knowledge, and that knowledge, it's a job position that it's in the market, I can get that job because in the first year I already got a micro-credential issued from the university that will help me to get that kind of job. And you can even have all the statistics about the progress of the people in their pathways. And even in the certificates, you can leverage those credentials to attract new students. Every time a student is sharing a micro-credential, they share in LinkedIn or in other social network. And of this conference, you will receive an NFT credential saying that you were in this conference. It will look similar to that. If you see the name of you, it will be encrypted. This is because everything that is in the blockchain and everything that is in internet, it's public. So if it's public, you have to encrypt it because it's the only way that you can have privacy about your information. So you will have to just complete your last name and to put verify, and you will be able to see your own name and also to share in LinkedIn or in different places. So it's important for you to share, for everybody to know that you went to this Congress and that this certificate it was issued by the STE. And if there is a mistake that we got wrong your last name or you want to change something, you can have a section where you can say, I would like to have my 2 last names, so please change it and you can have your new NFT certificate. Well, Manuel, I know you will ask this, so I put it in the presentation.
Thank you, Roy. First of all, thank you. I have my certificate. My certification is 100% ready. I downloaded a few minutes ago. Thank you, Roy. Thank you for POC for you support us in this Congress. Of course, you have question for Roy.
Thank you. So thank you for your presentation. First, I hope I will get as well my certification.
You will.
Perfect, perfect. So I really like, and I really appreciate the name of your company, Proof of Knowledge, is just fantastic. So I really see that we have to go more, as you say, with blockchain and certifications with a digital and a safe environment. I'm just wondering, extremely useful to universities, to whoever, individuals when they are doing any kind of training. And I'm just asking myself, okay, how far it will be easy to put in place your technology when someone is doing some specific trainings and then getting it available for whoever occasions they might need it.
Right, that was a great question. It's really easy when you have the solution. When you have a problem, it's really hard. Once you have the solution, it's really easy. Nowadays, there are 400 companies that they are dedicated about giving tools to universities to issue these kind of certificates, but we are the only one that makes it this way with NFTs in public blockchains that are really trustful. So how we do it? This is the beauty of what we are doing. It's the university when they create their user in our platform. Once they got their user, what we do, it's we open automatically a wallet in the blockchain. So if you have a user, you already have a wallet in the blockchain, and all the certificates that you will issue, they will be sent by the university because it's from that wallet. The students or you tomorrow, you will receive. What it happens that you don't see, it's when Manuel will send the certificates, he will send from the wallet, from the STE, he will send it to you, he will open a wallet to every people here. So everybody will have a wallet. You know that in blockchain, when you send one NFT from one wallet to another, it's all traceable. You have all the information, when it was done, who sent it to whom, and that it's all already figured in the blockchain. And you will simply receive an email saying that STE sent you a credential. You will open an email and you will just in internet, you will see a page. In that page that it's only for you, you will have the certificate and you will have all the look and feel from the STE. So in that, in the certificate, that's a certificate that it's in blockchain and it's impossible to move. What it's in the page, it's something online so you can change. And you will have a link that is from Polygon, the user experience of internet. So that's really easy. And you make a second question that I was missing. For the interviewers, okay. When you get your credential and you write your last name, you will have the possibility to just with one click to share in LinkedIn, or you will have the link of your certificate. So when somebody is from human resources is looking for your profile, you will have this in the certificate section, and the people that it's working there, he will directly access to that information. So different platforms. All the 90% of the human resources, they use LinkedIn, so I say LinkedIn, but I know if they use Instagram or TikTok, or it's less probable, but you don't know. Yes. Right?
Sorry, another question. Okay, I'm getting the email. We at Festo, we are very strict, safety, IT security issues, or firewall or whatever. Do I have the facing that it will not come in because it will be stopped by the firewall you email, or there is a way that is seen as a secure and no risk virus or whatever?
Okay, I will answer double your question. We have all the certificates worldwide. In Europe, they use GDPR, that it's some rules about data privacy and all that, and that's involved. So we have all the trustable. We have the servers of Amazon in Europe because they are more secure than other places, and the other information is in the blockchain. It's possible to change. So in security, there's no problem. And the other, I'm always forgetting the second question. And you asked about possible for the firewall to block this. In this case, we will send it from POC because we don't have the possibility to do it from STE, but that's something that it can be personalized. All the platform, it's white label, so you can even personalize the link, and it can include that it's from the name of the university or the company, for people to have the experience about they are receiving something from the company and not something from POC or any other provider.
I have a more business-related question. We as Phoenix Contact, we develop software, we develop hardware, and we sell it and get money for that. What is your business model? What do you sell and offer, and from what you get your salary? I can't understand. You gave some certificates to you, to me, if I want. And what happened after that with my data? As you ask also, it's really, my data are safe and I want to share it with anybody else. But what you do with my data and with my credits, when you say, okay, I will get a certificate on Friday afternoon or maybe evening, I know I learned and heard a lot here during the last 2 days and then 3 days, but what do you certify for me? What have I learned? What is my delta? And what kind of certificate I get?
It's something important is that we don't certificate anything. We are the vehicle or the platform where STE or the universities or companies make a statement about a person. So if you came to this Congress, you will have a certificate that you came to this Congress. It's Manuel wrote down that you came, so he will be certifying this. In universities, the university, we validate the universities before they start issuing the certificates. So everybody knows that the university is the one who makes the certifications. You can, I know, if you go to a soccer game here, you can receive, I don't know, if you see the Universidad de Chile, it's a team here, you will receive certificates from the Universidad de Chile that says that you went to a soccer game. If you are in a university and the university taught you something and they evaluate you about that knowledge, then they can validate using their name that you have learned whatever you have learned. So what it's verified, it's something that the university has the information and it makes a statement. The same as when you finish studying something and you got your degree, it's the same. But you can have the possibility to use even micro-credentials to certify small parts of what you will finish learning. And about your information, it will be, it's what I answered before, it will be stored in the in Amazon Web Services, what it's online, and the rest, it will be in the blockchain. And we are one of the few companies that we encrypt your name. So you will have a degree on internet, your degree or your certificate, it will be in blockchain, but the name, it's encrypted. So I can have the link, but I don't know from who is it. So you have for disencrypt, you have to write your last name. So that's your key to keep your privacy in internet and in the blockchain. And you asked about something of our economic model, or? Yes, okay. I'm always bad with the second question. Yes, it's when universities, they issue certificates, I know, during a year they can issue 10,000 certificates. There's a cost for each certificate. So they pay once and they have like a stock of 10,000 certificates, NFTs, and they can send it when they want. And we charge that time and nothing else. That's for us, that's enough. We don't charge about licenses or designs or features. We just charge when certificates it's issued in the blockchain. And the student, he will never have to pay anything. He will have an excellent experience. And the university, but paying something it's very few, they will help the student for employability. They will have a statistic about how it went with the employability, and they will give the student something that it's for life, that it's cheaper than a Coke. So it's something that it will be forever, and for education, something so important as knowledge, it has to be very trustable and easy to share.
So thank you, Roy. Roy, we are talking about a certification that probably won't expire. So we have a different scenario when you're talking about IT, and you have some of these certifications with a very specific date that will expire. So how you would manage this kind of certifications in your system?
Okay, it's what it's in the blockchain, it will be forever in the blockchain. What many universities or other kind of educational institutions, they do when they teach something that I know. If I learn AI 5 years ago, maybe I don't nothing now about AI. So when you issue a certificate, you can put the date when it was issued. So you know it was from 2020, so you know that it's not working, and some institutions, they even say that this certificate, it was issued this date, and after 2 years, it will expire. I said like it's when you go to a supermarket and you buy something that you have when it was produced and when it expires, it's the same logic.
Thank you, Roy. POC Company is our partner in the STE 2025.
Thanks all, and especially for all the questions.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. As well, good afternoon from my side. I'm really pleased to be here today. So thank you, Manuel, for the invitation and being here with you and with it's amazing environment. Thank you as well, Ligia, for giving me the chance to be with you this week in South Europe, South America, sorry. So today, I would like to talk about the new technologies related with education and as well with lifelong learning. I'm part of Festo, and you see Festo is a 100 years company. So this year for us, it's a very, very special year. Where I just give you firstly so short information about us. Some of you know already Festo, some don't really know it. So I'm just go really fast over it, but at least give you a short overview about who we are. So Festo is a German company, family-owned, based in the southwest of Germany. And as you can see here, I have such a kind of systems, tools at home when we are doing some homeworks, etc. So that's something you see already in the 50s was already such a kind of system. And you see here in 55, we somehow changed. We started to work in the new technology at that time, and the name was pneumatic. And here you at that time, a member of the family went to the US and discovered a new technology. That technology was named pneumatic, and he was so engaged, so passionate from that technology, and he really saw at that time what could bring this technology to all of us, but he really came back to Europe and started to do the internal lobbying at that time within the family, within the organization to start to work in that topics. And here you see, some years later, we have the first training for people. So at that time, we already have starting, we need to teach, we need to give the possibility to the people to learn if they want them to embrace new technologies, new way of producing, new way of doing machines or whatever they might imagine to do. So maybe come back to your question at when you started today or this afternoon saying, okay, how long it might take to be a trainer? That was roughly your question. If I may answer, maybe I'm wrong, but you can correct me, I will say you never stop. At the end, you always need to learn. And we already started in Festo, you see here, in 65. And we're still learning. I'm still learning each day. And it was really interesting, your presentation, as well the presentation about blockchain on NFT systems. So all the time we learn, and here it's what we see. We need to learn, and we need to bring the possibility to people to do it. So it's how we started and how Festo grow over the years, always having in mind that we need to train the people. Today, we have two key, let's say, areas, automation which is 100% oriented in industry, any kind of industry, automotive, food and beverage, whatever you can imagine, packaging. So that's that part. And then we have the technical education, so teaching part, where we are part of as a team here, and that I'm representing today. We are doing roughly 4 billion per year as turnover with automation and didactic. We are almost everywhere, I will say. And we have 20,000 people inside the organization. And for us, the largest or the most important asset that we have is the people. So we train our own people. We have our own Festo Academy. We are always willing to help them to grow, to be entrepreneur, if I might say, inside the organization, to bring new ideas, because we see nowadays everything is changing all the time. And we see more and more stress, how we can address everything. And we have been thinking about, okay, what we can do to manage, or what are the main challenges that we see in the world. So from our perspective, there is two sides, let's say. One side is more climate change, what we all face, the limited resources more and more, and as well from the top, you see over there, ourselves, population, it's growing, changing, we have a different habits, different way of learning, different way of working, so everything brings a lot of tension that we need to address. And how we want to do it, or how we imagine it we could do it, it's using what we the best know, automation, and work in technical education, supporting universities, vocational schools, engineering, etc., to work on that, to help us all together to develop new way of working. We're using more cobots, working in lifelong learning, industrial transformation, and so on and so on. Because at the end, what we aim to, what we would like to contribute as far as we can, is to do work in the transformation, in the climate neutral circular economy. We want really to find ways within the industry, with the universities, to change, to adapt, to be faster, and to find solutions that will give us the possibility to still growing as a population, and as well to save or to protect the environment and have a blue world, let's say, at the end. And that's why for us it's a key vision, a key mission to collaborate with whoever wants to go in that direction. If we consider more lifelong learning, which we are more in, what we see is the key driver. What's the new technologies? It's the changing in the social needs, how we change the current job, which one will come as new ones. So how we be able to do it? How we can train the people with the new technologies? And here, it's a bit what you said before as well. First, you need to understand. If you are not able to understand the technologies and to see how this technology, you can use it on, then you can create progress. But if you are not able to understand, you'll never ever be able to move forward and then to make use of it. For that, you need skilled people. And I think it was you as well. That's why I really thought your presentation really interesting, because we have a lot of connections or synergy somehow. You need to start almost from the beginning. You need to help at the high school to give them interest for inspiration for technology with STEM, for example. That's the first step. Very young age, you need to learn, to see how it works. What you can do with technology, what you can do with electricity, mechanics, whatever. And then you move step by step, technical, vocational education, tertiary, when you are going more in deep learning, research, and at the end, some of them, they just go in the industry. And they then still learning, because at the end, it's the only way to be able to adapt, to be flexible, to be fast in everything that is going on around the world. And you need to empower the people. You need to be able to take care of all these kind of studies. There's a lot of them, but you're just a part of it. So you really need to be adaptable and to understand the different. And one of the things that we see as Festo that is really helpful in that sense is world skills. We are one of the members almost from the right beginning. And why world skills? Because for us, world skills is like, if I may say, the Olympic Games of vocational education. So young students, they are going there, they are representing their country, and they are competing with in different job profiles, in different mechatronic, in industry 4.0, in water technology, name it. And this as well, it's important because it's a direct connection with the industry. The job profiles, the competition done there are related with the industry. We are trying to be more and more connected with what is in the reality, what you can learn, and how you can evolve from that. Here you see somehow a factory. So nowadays we all say, okay, we need, everything has to be connected, has to be fast, etc., etc. I was last week in another fair, one of the largest fair about industry, and we can see a lot of options, ways to do softwares, just name it. Everyone can find whatever they are looking for. But at the end, the key aspect is digitalization. That's the first thing that makes the difference. And that is something that I like to use, is coming from the university from Vienna, in Austria. That's the steps. First came, let's say, digitalization. That's where the disruption. This new technology, this new way of acting, then bring as well new business model. But in theory, students tomorrow should be able to manage. I mean, I don't know, from your side, I can say I will never ever be able to do it. So you need as well to find ways to learn, to adapt, to grow, and to define, okay, in which of these technologies, how I will be able to learn, when I will need it, how I will do it. So you can even to create, to define a new profession. What's the change? We need to be on in the previous presentation was as well mentioned, we need to upskill, we need to reskill, we need to create, to go in new technologies, in new profile. And here you see something that we have been working quite a while with different partners, industry, university, to understand or to see, okay, which kind of profile, which kind of knowledge, skills this person, a digital production technician, should have. And you see here, we have digital network, cybersecurity, and so on and so on. And we can compare with the previous one that are today somehow available. And you see here the differences. So if you want to be more prepared for what is coming, you can adapt as far as you can already current one curriculum, or you go for a new one. If you go for the new one, we as well been working, as I said, in, okay, how it would look like, how many hours you will need, and so on and so on, which kind of, let's say, qualification level you might get, and so on. So that works, gives you an overview how it looks like. We have been as well defining how you could integrate in already existing curriculum. You can change everything, or you can just add some specific qualifications that you consider you will need. But as well some kind of things that we provide, that we are able to support, to give you a new direction and to be able to address what is coming everywhere. Here you see some paths, you see as well, okay, getting more and more, we have hybrid, let's say, learning, so online and physical presence, and we can mix both based on what is the topic, because we consider when you are in technical education, only online, it's not enough. You need to be able to test, you need to be able to physically to do some experience, and that's why we always combine online trainings with physical presence, depending on the topic that needs to be covered. Here you see when we are talking about digital, the platform that we are using as well there, we are having two ways to do it. It could be, as you see here, direct instructions, or it could be the Socratic method. So if we go in the first one, it's quite easy. We have here a tutor, so you can ask something. And because this one is more directive, the system will automatically give you the link, the information that you need to have to learn about it. So you go there and you do it. Another option, if you go in the Socratic method, then it's a bit different. Then you will learn, because you are getting a kind of coach, but asking you some questions. So you say, okay, what about voltage? And he's starting to ask you some questions. But it's a different way to do. So you have as well the possibility to choose in which direction you're gonna go. You want to give already the information, more directive, so you go there, the student get the link and he can already check, or you want them, but he start to think, he's getting more, let's say, engaged with the learning process, so he can ask through the questions to learn and then to understand and to see where to go to find the right information. And if we see as well, from what I said before about this qualification, we have a theoretical part and we have a practical part. So based on that, we as well splitted the different topics. And you see here some analysis, some information about what are the possibilities to go through the studies and how many hours you will need to invest, how many topics you need to cover from the theory, and the same when we are talking about the practical part. On this topic, as I said before, working with the world skills is now part of one of the competitions, and it's even already implemented in the Chinese vocational education system. So that's kind of aspect, approach that we are trying to put in place to apply between new technologies and what is changing all the time in the world, to adapt and to find the right approach to move forward in the education. Thank you.
Thank you, Jose Antonio. Questions?
Okay, thank you so much for your presentation. So, as was a John, I had admired to Festo. With the other company, usually see only box with light. But if you see Festo page web, you can see ants, elephant, in different animals.
Yes, bionic systems.
Yes, and the 3D meat is very important. The technology for the printed circuit, 3D MID, is very important for me because inspiration my professional career. Festo is wow, like a Superman of the technology. But the question is, what are the next goals to motivation education in Chile? Because in the other country, Festos have different goals for create motivation in education. But in Chile, I know only world skill participation and Festo Olimpiadas, Olympic Festos. It's good, but sometimes I think we need more, more participation for all of this industry. Maybe see ants, maybe see elephant, maybe see, I don't know, more robotic. Okay. What is the next step for Festo?
Normally, I should not be able to answer because it's not part. I mean, I'm coming from headquarters, so but we should be the colleagues that are able to tell you what we could do. But if I may say something, Ligia, Rodrigo, and Jorge, I will just say, let's sit together and discuss. I mean, we are open. There is different ways to work. We are having a different approach, maybe from country to country, according to the let's say condition situation. So there is nothing already written in stone, and we cannot change. We just need to align, to discuss, and maybe find a way to working together. That's what I can say. We are nothing already defined on that will never change, because nowadays we need to adapt, we need to change. So let's discuss with the colleagues, and I'm sure they will find a way together with you to work on that and use maybe bionic systems or whatever might be needed to move forward. That's the maximum I can tell you today. I mean, yes, sorry.
I'm like here, like this. I would say, and I'll give you an example, what's happening right now. We'll have in 1 week from now a hackathon in Brazil, and could be anywhere, for girls. It will be a girls' day there, and we are using our bionics for education. So it's a way to inspire the next generation. And why not to talk about the gender initiatives as well? So that's an example of activities that we also can develop here. Why not? Okay?
One question more, maybe? Jorge?
So you do projects in different parts of the world, right?
Sorry?
You do projects in different parts of the world.
We try,
right?
at least, yes.
Okay. What is the main problem you have seen in Latin America in the training system, or to train the students?
I will not say there is a problem. I will say everywhere we are facing the same challenges somehow, certain degree. One of them is always okay, founding. It's always a topic. And another one is the level of knowledge of the people and how far you are finding the way to help them to grow and to develop. So I think it's not something that we can say it's specific South America or specific US or specific Europe. It's everywhere the same situation. There is a lot of new technologies. There is a lot of, let's say, fast changes, and we need to adapt. We need to find ways to do it, and then based on the situation where you are, we need first to assess where the people stand at the moment, and then step by step grow. I mean, we are working quite a lot in, for example, in Africa, and there is different levels there. If you go more in North Africa, you will see that the level of knowledge, if I may say, it's quite similar to Europe. If you go more south or more Central Africa, that's different. They have different expectations. But anyway, they want as well to have the cutting edge technologies. So you need to find a way to go there. So it's always a process, considering where you stand and which are the steps to go. So I don't see there is a specific problematic. It's just a normal approach that everyone wants the best, and you just need to see how you get there and how many steps you need to go to be there, and in which conditions you will be able to do it. So I don't really see, in that sense, a huge difference from the regions. It's just the starting point is different, and the time that you will need to go there will be different.
Yeah, because what I can see is many people want the last equipment, but they don't know the fundamentals.
Yes, that's true.
At
That's
least
not
in
only
Latin
here,
America,
it's
I
everywhere.
have seen that.
But I can tell you it's everywhere. You know, from my perspective, what I see is everywhere you go, doesn't matter if it's here, in Europe, wherever, one of the things is the teachers, they don't have time. But they need to face that they need to teach new technologies, and they need to make sure that when they are with the students, they still be, let's say, competent enough to convey some knowledge. On this issue, we have everywhere. I can give you a short, let's say, story. I was in Portugal a couple of years ago, and we have done a training for teachers. And the training was about basic pneumatic, but very, very the basic thing. And I asked my colleague, but they are teachers, and they need to teach in that school was per year, I think, about 100 hours pneumatic and electropneumatic and such a kind of things. So I thought, okay, they should be knowledgeable about that. And that's why I was wondering why they are now teaching the basics. So like, what is a cylinder? What is a valve? And I asked my colleagues, and then the issue was quite easy. The teachers, they have no knowledge about pneumatic. they are coming from electrical engineering. So for them, now if they need to teach pneumatic, they just was how they will do it. And that's why there is so fast evolution that you need to adapt. And then you have to consider as well the teacher, they have some specific knowledge. And you cannot know everything, as we have seen before. When you see the list of technologies that you should normally be able to deal with when you are in Industry 4.0, it's almost impossible. So you need to find ways that gives the teacher some security that what he will teach, what he will show, it will be understandable, and if something goes wrong, he will be able to solve it. That's from my perspective, the key challenges that we all are facing, and that nothing to do if we are here, or you are in Europe, or you are wherever you are. That's the same situation everywhere. Or at least it's what I'm facing all the time. We are in the same setup, same challenge for all of us. A teacher needs to be, let's say, to show to his student that he knows what he's talking about. And if he's not able to do it, and the student has an issue, and he's not able to answer, then for him it's over. And then he's losing the trust and respect of the student, and he has no chance to make it back and then ensure that the students will learn and will really be motivated, because he has no, let's say, connection anymore. And that's the key issues from my perspective, for the teachers today with the new technologies and what they need to explain and to convey as knowledge, skills to the students.
Yes, we have seen many times we must lead the teachers because they don't say what they don't know. It's a really big problem. And the other thing is make a questionnaire before the training.
But
because
I think sometimes to say that you don't know, you need to know that you don't know.
Yeah.
And that's not always easy.
Yeah, but when they buy an equipment, at the beginning we thought they know what was about the equipment. But now I think the question is before the training.
Yeah, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Last question, maybe? One more? No questions? Thank you so much for FIALEC, Jorge. Thank you, Roy, for POC, and thank you for Festo, of course.
Yes.
Thanks so much for your time. Thanks so much for support us. And now I invite you to coffee break. It's necessary. Thank you.